Well, hello, and welcome to my channel, The Great Gratu Orloff. It's episode 336, coming to you here on the world-famous Gratu Orloff network, Christian network. We're now up to 216 subscribers here, and we're coming to you live in color on the Gratu Orloff channel from the Gratu Orloff International Building of Trade. Again, we're up in room 3 of floor 7. It's a wonderful spring day here in Gratuville. It's March the 24th or 25th, something like that. It's a Wednesday of 2016. Have you tried Topo Gigio? This is mouse piss. Well, we're back organizing comics. I brought 2 more boxes in from room 1 of floor 7. And this is going to solve some of these mysteries where I'm going through boxes and it's like, I have more of this comic. Where are they? Because I brought in some M's and some S's that have been lurking hidden in another room. So, I pray that you will love tonight's content and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you have hit the like button. Yes, indeed. Well, let's get started, shall we? Time waits for no man. Okay, first of all, shit, let's go over here. I've got to fix this Marvel Tales problem. Now, Marvel Tales is a problem. When I was a kid in the 70s, I thought, this is great. It allows me to read these old Spider-Man stories from the 60s, and I don't have to pay big, high prices. The high prices of the 70s, which are probably less than a new comic book costs today. But anyway, so I would buy them, and little did I know they were editing out a couple of pages every issue so they could fit in more ads. Just like old TV shows, you know, they deregulated the FCC during the Reagan administration, so they're allowed to run more commercials per hour on television, which means that old television shows from the 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, they chop some time out so they can put in more commercials. Or what Ted Turner used to do, being the evil snake that he is, he would actually speed the shows up. It's something called time compression. So you're watching the shows sped up. Yeah, I know I'm wearing a pink shirt. It was my only clean shirt. It used to be a shirt I wore one day a year whenever they had the big wear pink to work a day. I don't know. Elvis wore pink. I guess I can wear pink. Let's see what we've got here. So yeah, it's a wonderful Wednesday night here. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so I've got a box here, Marvel Tales, and then up to Metal Men, and over here I've got a box. This is Marvel Double Feature. I don't know if there's good lighting over here. Let's see how things look. Let's see how things look. Alright, so I'm going to move Marvel Double... Man, there is not good lighting here. Well, why don't I just put this box together, then we'll go through it once it's assembled in order. That might be a plan. Well, I was watching a show called, I think it's called Comics with Bueller. It's on YouTube, and 2 guys sit behind a desk. And they discuss comics. And something I didn't know is that Marvel has recently started to use real cheap paper on their front covers. the same kind of paper they use in the interior of the comic, because the guy was complaining that he got the last of the Alex Ross covers, and it had the Vision on it, and I don't know what comic that was, probably the Avengers. And he said he could see the ad right through the page because it was so cheap. He could actually make out the words on the ad printed on the inside front cover. So Marvel is cheaping out. Oh, and I steered you guys wrong last night. I told you that I had heard that King Kong vs. Godzilla started today on HBO Max, but I looked it up, and it said March 24th, international release date, but that probably means that's when it's going to be released in theaters in China. And I was thinking that was going to be when it would be on HBO Max, but I've forgotten that movies get released in China before they're released here. So, because they're all back to normal over there. Okay, moving Marvel's greatest comics over. Anyway, so Marvel Tales created a problem for me in that I got lazy and didn't buy a bunch of old Spider-Man comics when I could afford them. And that was not good. Oh boy. This is going to be a problem. I'm going to have to move stuff out of this box to move stuff into this box. It's alright. I've done worse things. The Micronauts. Okay. Marvel 2-in-1, Marvel Triple Action, Marvel. Oh, there's that Ultimate Marvel Team Up. Man. And I had some of those Ultimate Marvel Team Ups in the used last night, so that's why things are getting all confusing. Well, it's getting to be near Christmas time here in Bratuville. I was thinking about putting up the tree here tomorrow. Let's see here. Okay, what am I doing here? Marvel's greatest comics. Oh, I see what I'm doing. Just a few moments and I'll have this all up to speed. How did I let this happen? Okay, Marvel superheroes. Oh, and then when I get to Marvel, there's a lot of Marvel Tales though. So I'm going to have to move even more out. So I don't know, I haven't been to a comic shop in a couple of months. So I don't know what things are like now, but I've been consciously avoiding that. Mainly because I don't have any money, so there's no real point going just to look. But the main thing I need is bags and boards. Okay. All right. How did we move from this wonderful doo-wop music of the 50s to hip-hop and gangster rap and stuff? How exactly did that happen? Marvel Premiere. What? Oh my gosh. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Just give me a few minutes. Marvel Team Up. Ugh. Okay, this is good. What the hell is that? Okay. I think I need to bring these boxes over here to do a better compression of this. So this is going to require a little bit more effort than I had thought. And there's a Marvel Presents box. Oh no. So many titles that start with Marvel. I'm going to have to combine 3 boxes. This is going to be a marathon episode tonight. Alright, let's get over where there's better light. Okay, let's see what I got to do here. Marvel Triple Action. Okay. Marvel Spectacular. Marvel's Greatest Comics. Marvel's Greatest Comics. Marvel Presents. The P in Presents is before the S in Marvels. So Marvel Premiere. And then the first issue of Alex Ross's Marvels. Let's get these Marvel Presents over here. Yeah. Okay. And then I've got to merge these Marvel's Greatest Comics, which I will show you in a moment. So. Okay, that does that. Marvel Spotlight. Marvel Team Up. Marvel Tales. Marvel Spotlight. Here we go. Okay, there's 2 volumes of Marvel Spotlight. Okay. Okay, Spotlight. Oh, excellent. Here's where I knew I had all these comics. All right. Oh boy. If it wasn't for this music, I couldn't do this. That and air conditioning. Marvel Spotlight with the first Spider-Woman. I'll show it to you in a minute. I think I may have shown this stuff to you before. 28, 2. Okay. There's some more Marvel Tales. Marvel Tales 33. In the 60s in Marvel Tales, when it was a giant size, thick comic, they weren't, I don't think, editing the stories then. They started editing them in the 70s at some point, and there's somewhere on the internet I saw where they told you what pages were edited out in Marvel Tales. I don't know if it was on mycomicshop.com or if it was some separate database. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, so Marvel Team Up. Two copies of 8. Well, where's my childhood copy of Spider-Man and Werewolf by Night? Oh, there it is. It's number 12. Oh, okay. Okay, this is going to be a cool episode once I get to showing these comics. If you have to fast forward, I will forgive you. 23. Plus, I'll never know. Let's see, 26, 32, 34. Okay, Marvel Triple Action. Oh, Millie the Model. Men of War. Marvel Triple Action. 2-in-1. Triple Action. I wonder if the collector's market will ever start supporting these reprint comics, because people can't afford the real thing. It may have already happened with certain key issues like the first Punisher, and maybe people get it in Marvel Tales if they can't get it in the original Amazing Spider-Man. Men of War, Megaton Man, Melting Pot. Okay, Men of War number 1, 2, 9, 23, Metal Men, Millie the Model. Mighty Samson, Millennium, Millie the Model, 197. Okay. Mr. Miracle. Okay. Okay, Mr. Monster, Monster of Menace, Monster of Frankenstein should be in front of that. Monster Hunter, Monster Hunters, Monster Hunters. So where are all my Monster of Frankensteins? That must be yet another box. Monsters on the Prowl. Monsters on the Prowl. Monster Menace. Monsters on the Prowl. 24, 28, 22. Morlock 2001. These Marvel premieres are out of order. Over the Edge. Okay. Ms. Mystic. Monsters. Moth. Monster Menace. Wow. Nexus. Okay. And I have all these Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Mans, and I was going to put them with, no, I pulled out some of those. Marvel Premiere. Oh, okay. Premiere 12. Marvel's Greatest Comics. 12. Is there another M box? There's that box over there with J through M. Oh, man. Let me see what it's got. I think it has some of the other M's, because I do not have all the Marvel premieres here. It goes through Man-Thing. What's at the end here? Marijuana, The Inside Story, Mini Ghost. Okay, maybe that's before. There could be some M's down there at the bottom. That's possible. Okay. Oh boy. Alright, let's see what we can do here. This is going to be the most unpopular episode of the Groucho Orloff show ever. If people can get this far. I've got some cool stuff to show you here. But to do that, let's see what we can do here. Hold on. Alright. Yeah, that's no good. Okay. What's in here? Okay, trust me, once all these comics are organized, the Groucho Orloff show will be a far more professional comic book program. Whew. Alright, let's look at some comics. Marvel Double Feature. That's number 4. Marvel Double Feature number 5. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 11. These are reprints from Tales of Suspense from the 60s. 12. $13, but sometimes with newly done covers. So here you've got a Kirby cover, that was never seen before, so that's a reason to buy it, I guess. Number 15. $16. $17. I guess by now you've all seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I don't want to spoil it, which is really hard to do with just having seen one episode. But you know that U.S. agent appears, right? And at the end. Did that guy look like Popeye to you, or what? People are talking about that the new Captain America didn't have his dentures in. Yeah, he's like Popeye. They should have given him a corncob pipe. The United States has recruited Popeye to replace Steve Rogers. Wouldn't that have been great if he just went toot toot? And then they went into the Popeye theme and closed the episode. And then just had a big fuck you. Yeah, so anyway, King Kong vs. Godzilla, or apparently it's called Godzilla vs. Kong, is actually going to be on March 31st, apparently. And who knows when she'll ever be on, you know, they've got to decide, because they've already postponed her movie a year, and now, you know, will theaters be open enough by May to premiere a movie? So I wouldn't be surprised if they went to pay-per-view. There's a Marvel fanfare. Is she the character in WandaVision? I assume she is, because I wasn't reading the Marvel comics during the era when that character made the scene. So, Marvel fanfare. Very nice cover. Oh, look at the back cover. That's cool. The Son of Satan. That's pretty damn cool, actually. Oh. They did a romance story at the back. Maybe I should pick. I don't have many of these Marvel fanfares. Pretty cool. I think it was a comic that was made only for comic stores. Yeah, because it doesn't have a UPC code. There were certain comics that weren't released at regular newsstands, and something about them at the time made them feel like they weren't really comic books to me. Isn't that weird? If something was only released in a comic book store, somehow to me at that age, it felt like it didn't have legitimacy if it wasn't sold at a 7-Eleven, the way comics had traditionally been since, you know, as long as I can remember. These are out of order. No, they're not. What? Premiere. What is going on? So I've got a bunch of Marvel feature Ant-Man comics, and okay, there's still another M-box. Okay, so I have more Marvel feature, and then, because this is Marvel feature number 6, and it's 20 cents, and then you've got Marvel feature number 2, and it's 25 cents. So this must have been when they started Marvel feature again, and Marvel feature 1, I think, is Red Sonja, and I have that issue. I have several copies of it. it's in another box. Yeah. Marvel feature number 3. Frank Thorne, the artist, passed away, I think last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. Marvel feature number 5. Some Mars Eclipse just wrote, if you're taking flack, it means you're over the target. He just, Mars Eclipse, you gotta subscribe to his channel. He just put that comment up. It popped up at the top of my phone. So, I wonder, I guess I must have been complaining about somebody that gave me a thumbs down, so that must be what Mars is referring to. Mars Eclipse has an amazing collection of monster magazines. You need to check him out. He's a fellow Martian. Oh, Marvel Knights. Okay, yeah. I think I showed you this the other week. It has the Punisher pulling someone's teeth out. Yeah. Whenever it's Marvel Knights, it means that they're gonna take their clothes off and kill people in graphic ways and probably say curse words. The end of Marvel. Perhaps we're seeing that now. That cheaping out on the front covers. I don't know. I haven't heard anyone else talk about that but I don't. Yeah, most of the shows I watch aren't about current modern comics. They're about old comics. See, I don't think I have this issue of Tomb of Dracula. I got a lot of Tomb of Draculas, but unfortunately I don't think I ever got the Blade issue when I was a kid. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I showed you all this stuff before. But what can I say? Marvel movie specials. Yeah, I did, because I was talking about this James Bond comic, and yeah, I showed you all this. But here it is, again, with better lighting, possibly. Here's Marvel Premiere number 2. Marvel Premiere number 3. So where's 4 and 5? They must be in that other box. Is that box down there? Anything got an M on it around here? I bet it's that box at the bottom over there. Marvel Premiere 6. My curiosity is such that I need to go look. This is driving me sane. Let's go take a look. Oh, did you hear my knees crack when I stood up? That's really a good sign. Okay, this box only goes through Man-Thing. Okay. Okay, that's Green Lantern and Hawkman. If it's not this box, it has to be in the other room. Man, there's nothing in this box. What the freaking heck? Except some Human Fly comics. And some Doom Patrol. Shit. Oh, here's some Marvel. Okay, this is, I found some. Oh, good. Yeah, maybe this is the missing comics that I've been looking for. No, maybe not. Okay. Well, I found a stack of comics that should be in this box. So that was good, but mostly that box is empty. Someone asked me how many comics that do I have, and so I counted, and I think I counted 41 boxes. And then I looked up online, and it said 41, or it said it said the average long box has about 150 comics. So I did the math, and I've forgotten what that came out to. What's 41 times 150? That might tell you about how many comics I have. But okay, so I've got this Marvel Attacks, where it's like a cock and balls inside the helmet. But I don't remember those guys on the trading cards. Here's a little thing promoting the Marvel Action Hour. They had the Fantastic Four and Iron Man. And the Fantastic Four cartoon was average. The Iron Man comic cartoon was abysmal. And then the second season, they canceled Iron Man, and the second season of Fantastic Four, they got different people in, and it was really good. So this, unfortunately, when you buy the DVD box set, you got to get the first and second season. But at least they had the Human Torch, unlike the NBC one from '78. Okay, well, I've got some things I need to add here. Marvel Adventures. I'll add this right after Marvel Action Hour. This is probably going to require that I take some out of the back of the box. All right. So, we're going to have some, my wife's going to make some kind of Mexican food for dinner. Okay, Marvel Adventure. Okay, more reprint comics. Here's Marvel Age, which is a little thin. I guess they charged 25 cents, but I think it was free, and it was just a real thin newsletter about what's going on. Pretty sure they gave that away free, and they just put 25 cents to make. I was thinking to make people think they were getting some, but here's Marvel Age, and it's $1.50 with that awful 1990s art. God, that's awful. Okay. Here's number 77. Do people collect these? Oh, this is 137. Okay. Shit. I'm sure there's collectible issues of it. 65. It's kind of like maybe what Foom would have grown into. It's not as good as Foom. I gotta get more copies of Foom. Marvel Chillers. Mordred the Mystic. What number was that? Was 2? Here's another 2. Yikes! Hold on, let me prop you up with this cell phone here. The cell phone is a good thing to strong and sturdy. It's like a brick. Marvel Chillers number 3. And another copy of 3. Here's 4. Here's 5. Damn. Is that a call? What the hell? Interesting art in this. Good. I need to reread that. Here's Marvel Chillers number 5. Didn't I just show you that? Yeah. I would always, anytime I saw one of these Tigra comics, I would buy it. So I wound up with multiple copies because I love the character. And I just happened to buy the very first appearance of her when I was in probably 4th grade. Here's number 6. Another 6. 7. Oh, it's a Kirby cover. Kirby started doing a lot of covers there around that time. And then at the competition, DC, Ernie Chow was starting to do a lot of covers. Who later became Ernie Chan. I really like that artist. Marvel Classics Comics, which was their attempt to cash in on the Classics Illustrated market, although I don't think that was a big market, but Marvel wanted a piece of everybody's pie. There's number 20, Frankenstein. Food of the Gods, number 20. There's more M's that need to be put in here, but that may be for tomorrow's episode. But we're getting, I'd say we're 85% of the way to having everything in order. And then I can concentrate on theme episodes or just rants or whatever. Here's 28. Pit and the Pendulum. Prisoner of Zenda. These are in the bags that I won from the Night Tiger Comics Christmas show. I just need to get some backing boards for them. But they were for modern size comics. They wouldn't quite fit Silver Age, so I wound up using them here. 31, First Men in the Moon. I mean, I can tell they just have a different feel to them. There's 34. It's like Alfredo Alcala there. Here's Marvel Comics Presents. You can immediately tell it's a 90s monstrous cover. Yeah, whatever. It has Thanos in it, so I'm sure everyone's excited about that. Here's another Marvel feature with Ant-Man. I said I knew I had more, but I've got, I think, all of them. So let me put this with the other Marvel feature. Yeah, there's some other stuff somewhere. Here's Marvel Comics. This is must be a free. Oh, this is what Wild West is, what Lone Star Comics became. these people bought this Lone Star Comics from Buddy Saunders, and then Lone Star Comics just became mycomicshop.com. But I guess Wild West is the same number of letters as Lone Star, and it's still the same basic theme, kind of a Texas Western theme. So, and I think, though I've heard rumors that they signed an agreement that they would not sell old comics there, so they wouldn't provide competition to mycomicshop.com. But I cannot confirm that. The waiter at, I guess that was a week ago today, we went to that restaurant, and they had trivia day, and we won. I was telling you about the waiter, and he was this crazy guy that refused to wear a mask, and but he used to own a comic store. Lone Star Comics had several. The main location that I would go to had several locations over the years. The first one was a little small store, not much bigger than this room. That was my favorite location. Then they moved down East Abram, and they were in this one store for a long time. Well, that location, then they moved across the street to where the old General Bookstore used to be. But that second location is now a place called Growl, and they live stream from there almost every night or every other night. Whatever bands are playing, they stream them out across the internet, across the world. So hold on, I had a bunch of She-Hulk somewhere. Yeah, I got some S's to organize again too. Anyway, so it's a weird store. It's the old Lone Star Comics. They have a stage by the front window. It's an old 50s shopping strip center. And then they've got records along the wall, old records. So it's part live venue, part record store. And in the back, they had new comics and old comics. It was just like it had in the old days. So it had a comic store, a record store, and a live music venue all in one. And then you walked out the back door of the comic store that used to be only for employees, and you'd go out and there'd be a big courtyard with all these tables, and they'd have a food truck, and then there was a Division Street brewery where they cooked up beer in these big giant vats, and that was and all that's still around. The Growl was still there. They still had bands. They still had the records. But the comic guy decided he just couldn't keep going. They had the street torn up for a long time doing street, I don't know, some kind of street stuff. And he wasn't getting enough business, so he closed it. And now he was the clerk. He was our waiter at that restaurant. So he was a heavy metal kind of, you know how a lot of comic store clerks are heavy metal, some of them heavy metal people. Okay, whatever. Alright, enough about that. Where was I? Marvel Premiere. Yeah, I was here maybe. Marvel Premiere 2. Oh, I was showing you these Doctor Stranges. I was further than this. I showed you that one. Shit. Maybe I was here. Did I show you this one? Marvel Premiere 8. Here's another Marvel Premiere 8. Oh, they're so tightly packed. I gotta pull some more out of the back. Okay. promise the next episode will be better. 9, I showed you 9. So where's 10? See, there's just like missing things, and I know I've got like all of these, but I don't see 10. I have 2 11s. 12. 13. 13. Then I have a bunch of missing Marvel premieres because it goes to 20. Yeah, where's the rest of them? There's like, yeah, like Weird World and all those. That should be here. Liberty Legion. Okay, so there's some missing. Have to be on the other one. Marvel Presents. Number 5. This one I bought as a kid. 6. Another 6. 7. 7 again. So where's 8? Here's 9. 11. 'Someone has a little thing at the top. Is Black Widow coming to Disney Plus? Everyone's speculating about that. Yeah, I don't think the theaters are going to all be opened up by May. 12. Marvels. This is when we were first exposed to Alex Ross. So all these people that think that, oh, those costumes just look too silly in movies, Alex Ross proves them wrong. So, you know, if Green Goblin had looked like that in the first Sam Raimi movie, it would have been perfectly acceptable. Oh. Do you guys really want to look at Marvel's Greatest Comics? I guess so, because they don't have, some of them don't have the original covers, so they have new art for the covers. This is them reprinting the Galactus trilogy. I don't know if by this point they were cutting pages or not. At what point they started that. 44. And when they don't, when they use the original art, a lot of times they'll color it differently. So it's a little bit of a change. But in the early 70s, when I started collecting comics, there weren't comic stores. There might be an occasional flea market, but if you wanted to read the old classic comics, you would you'd have to get these reprint things. So this is kind of more what it looked like in its original form. That's not changed much. Yeah. 51. Now, when I first discovered the Fantastic Four in Marvel Treasury Edition number 2, and I started buying Fantastic Four, this is my first issue of Marvel's Greatest Comic. This is the first one I ever bought off the newsstand. So the other ones I showed you I bought later, but these are going to be ones I actually bought in San Antonio when I first became awakened into how good the Marvel superhero stuff is. And the coloring on this cover is different. So we're still in the 25-cent era. Well, gas has gone up $1 a gallon. That's always nice. Well, my wife's mom couldn't come today. She was supposed to come today, but she wasn't feeling well, so she's going to drive tomorrow here. So I've been doing a little cleaning, and I was going to do this episode this morning, but I was, busy. 68. Um, 69. 70. I was gonna rant about variant covers, but what's the point? I heard someone talking about that on YouTube earlier today. Just some comics come out with 100 different covers. I just feel that Captain Strange Life was talking about obsessive compulsive disorders, because I had mentioned on one of my shows that my wife has to watch television shows in order from the first episode of the first season through. She can't just watch it. Although I did show her a couple of Star Trek episodes just that were because those were standalone episodes, at least the original Star Trek. It really pisses people off when I say the real Star Trek. The thing worse is when you call anime Japanese cartoons. I was at a convention once. I wound up in some room because a friend of mine was interested in the Japanese cartoons, and someone said, Japanese cartoons, and someone said, they're not cartoons, they're animation. Oh, but yeah, that's what someone was talking about. That same guy that was talking about variant covers. See, the thing about, I've had real problems with obsessive compulsive disorder. My mother had it real bad, and my middle brother and myself had it bad. My middle brother had it bad to the extent of almost like Howard Hughes. He wouldn't touch a doorknob unless he carried a paper cloth, like a paper towel in his pocket that was drenched in Lysol, and he used that to touch doorknobs. And he'd walk in the room and he'd immediately smell of all these chemicals. It was a very obvious thing, and he wasn't always that way, and he may have gotten that way reading about Howard Hughes and how bad he got. But, Howard Hughes is a brilliant man, and people that have obsessive compulsive disorder tend to be more creative, more intelligent people, and it's a curse, and I think it's hereditary. But I wound up with the hand washing thing. I just kept washing my hands, and I walked several feet away from the sink. Oh, and then I go back and wash them again. And I have a ritual of having these rituals in my head. Like before I watched any movie, I'd have to say this prayer in my head, and I'd say it I just keep reciting it. Oh, even though the Bible said do not repeat like the Romans do, and when you pray. But I had this prayer that I guess memorized from the back of one of those Jack Chick religious tracts, that you find at bus stations and everywhere. The size of a Tijuana Bible, and they have really good art, and they're really scary. And so anyway, I remember being in the theater about to watch The Empire Strikes Back in 1980, and I would say, and I would just repeat. I would say this prayer in my head, over and over again, just so. And then I remember in 6th grade, bell rings to go home. I look in my desk. Do I have to get books out of the desk to take home? And nothing there. Then I have to look again. Okay, and then I look again. I had to look a certain number of times because it's not like books are going to magically appear there. But I had this problem, and I had to fight it through sheer force of will. I fought it off, and it still comes back to me in times of stress. But for the most part, I beat it as far as washing my hands all the time, to the point where my hands were cracking and looked like Boris Karloff's hands in The Mummy. Real bad thing. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this. A lot of comic book people have this. I think, because we're obsessive. I mean, look at what I'm doing. We're alphabetizing these comics for hours and hours, streaming on YouTube. Some people could say I'm insane. So, yeah, we're nuts. A lot of us, most of us, all of us. And unless you went to some weird private school where everyone was like Ben Shapiro or something, you were probably made fun of for collecting comics. I mean, at least in 3rd and 4th grade, I had it good because I hung out with this group of guys that were cool, and we made comics together, but that didn't last because I moved. Most people hated and despised people that collected comics. Maybe it's different now because these movies are so cool. At least the Marvel ones are. And maybe people respect. I doubt it. But, you see these, beautiful girls in the mall wearing shirts with Silver Age art from the Avengers because they're into the movies. They've never probably touched a comic, but being a comic collector, I don't think has the stigma today that it did back then, because, the internet came in, then all of a sudden it was cool to be a nerd because nerds made this wonderful world possible of the internet and cell phones and everything. Of course, nerds may have also created some of what we've been suffering from the last year, but I shouldn't be talking about that. I would change the subject on that. No, it was naturally occurring. Someone ate a bat. Yeah. I better be quiet. But, anyway, Bill Gates was the type of nerd that I would not have hung out with. Oh, it was Marvel Premiere. Wait. Yeah, okay, it's Marvel Premiere. So what was, I was thinking Marvel Feature. I don't know what I'm thinking. This was a great comic. He's the type that would have been playing Dungeons and Dragons all the time. He was the type I couldn't. But then, what right do I have to not like a certain kind of nerd? That was the whole point of what they were talking about this morning on this show, Comics with Bueller. They're talking about some guy. This guy was saying he interviewed someone that was that collected comics, and he was some guy that poured concrete for a living. He was a blue-collar worker, and he bought what he liked, but he really worked hard to make the money to buy his comics. But it's something he loved, and he said when he was on YouTube being interviewed that all these people were, not many, but enough that it was hurtful, came on and were criticizing him and the type of books he collected and stuff, and he said, we shouldn't be hurting each other's feelings. We're all, we all collect different aspects of comics, but the fact that we all love comics means that we're all part of a brotherhood or sisterhood in some cases. But honestly, it's more of a guys' club, honestly. Not as much as it used to be, but, Anyway, so, when you, I put, like this show I do, I'm real honest, and I'm a real, it's just kind of like a diary of my life. And when, I'm letting you into my personal world and telling you about my life, and when someone gives me a thumbs down, it's like it kind of hurts. And it might be because I talk about politics sometimes, and it could be just because of that. But, man, I wouldn't give someone a thumbs down because they didn't like Trump or something. To me, giving someone a thumbs down is like going out of your way to be an asshole. And really say fuck you to a total stranger. Instead of just clicking off the video and looking at something else. Because obviously, the first 30 minutes of tonight's episode, I was just moving comics, and you were looking at the ceiling, and if you like listening to me, hey, that's great. But if you don't like it, you can just click off and think, what a waste of time that video was. But giving them a thumbs down, that hurts people's feelings. And we should be aware that, what is that old saying? Be nice, be kind to one another, for everyone is fighting their own private. What is that old slogan? Everyone's fighting their own private war, or everyone's got their own demons, and you just be nice. Everyone's kind of suffering, not everyone's having a great, especially not in this last year. Anyway, my point still has not been reached. Okay, so I was talking about OCD. Most comic book people probably have it. Most comic book people were perceived as nerds in school, and they probably still are nerds, and that's great. Currently, nerds are doesn't have that stigma anymore. Now the word geek is something people wear as a badge of pride. But OCD is a tough thing, and obsessive compulsive disorder, if you don't know what that stands for. This is Marvel's attempt to do Jonah Hex. So, my point. Comic book companies know who their audience is. They know who we are. They know that we're obsessive. And I've talked about this before in a previous episode a long time ago. So when they put out a comic book and they have 30 different covers, or 40 or 100 different covers, that triggers the OCD that they know a lot of their fans have, and they know they'll go out and they'll buy all of them or a bunch of them, and they'll get a second mortgage, or they'll rack up credit cards buying this stuff, and it's not right. And I kind of felt a little bit into it last summer when those Alex Ross covers came out, because I saw at Duncanville Books they had a whole wall, all of the Alex Ross covers. I thought that looks so cool. And so you have to buy 4 copies of the same damn comic to get all 4 of the Fantastic Four. So you could frame them, put them up in your comic wall, or whatever. I got 3 of them. I never got the Human Torch. I wanted to, I just never did. Maybe because I realized, hey, I need to put the cord in because the phone's running low on battery. Shit. Maybe I realized, that OCD's coming in. I better put on the brakes. I think that's what it was. And then I bought some comics that were really bad inside for the Alex Ross covers. I think the Fantastic Four comic was good. I haven't read it yet, honestly, but I'm going to do that here as soon as I get all this done. But buying multiple copies of the same comic for different covers, and then you say, well, you shouldn't make fun of people that like to do that. That's their hobby. And I'm not making fun of people for that. If that's what you're into, covers, that's terrific. But if it's being forced, if someone's doing that to you, when you could have been going out there and getting other comics and expanding, instead of having a whole, section of a short box that's that wide of the same comic, just each one with a different cover. If you got a whole bunch of cool cover ideas, use them on the next issue and the issue after that. Have a whole years of covers built up. But to keep using them, I don't know. I think that it's done to take advantage of people, and that I don't like. But if you've got a lot of money, which I don't have right now, and you think it's cool, then that's great, and I have no problem with it. But I certainly don't like Marvel cheapening the paper stock they're using for the front covers of their comics. That's not good. Where was I? Okay, from Doctor Who. Did I show you this? Wait, this is Marvel Presents. What, wasn't Marvel Presents back here? What? Marvel Presents. Yeah, this should be back here. Oh, I have more than one copy of number 5. Okay. I heard my wife's voice. I didn't know she was calling for me or not. She's downstairs taking a bath, and she's probably on the phone. Or Premiere. If there's an emergency, she'll call me on the phone. Premiere. Okay, I think I'm here with these Thor reprints. I'm in a comic called Marvel Spectacular. Marvel did a lot of reprint comics. Up until 1968, the distributor limited Marvel on how many comics they could put out every month. So they would double up their heroes, Hulk and Submariner would have to share a comic, and Captain America would have to share a comic with Nick Fury, and, like that. Yeah. But anyway, in 1968 that changed, so everybody got their own comic. But in the 70s, the different companies were trying to outproduce the enemy companies by putting out as many titles as possible. It was like a war. So it was real cheap to put out a comic that's just reprints. So that's number 10, number 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 'Marvel Spotlight number 2, first Werewolf by Night. And look, this must be the first month after they did away with the corner box. You can tell that the 25 cents was just drawn by hand. Number 3, Marvel. I need to move the cameras in a position. I'm going to twist my arm. Werewolf by Night 3. Marvel had Mike Ploog, and DC had Bernie Wrightson, and they're just gods, gods of comic art. We need to get back to American Gods. We didn't watch any today. Oh, this is a tremendous cover. Oh, I've got 2 copies of it. Oh, right from the rack of a 7-Eleven in Hampton, Virginia, right down the street, I picked up the first Ghost Rider. And kept it in pretty good shape for a second grader. And then I think there's some missing issues here, because there's one. Oh no, that was the Ghost Rider run. I don't know. Here's number 7. Becoming more and more convinced of these conspiracy theories about how prevalent devil worshippers are in our society and our government. But enough about that. But it was weird, all this devil stuff that was in the Bronze Age comics. I think it was because The Exorcist hit it real big in, what was that, 73 or early 74. The Exorcist was a huge hit, and so it seeped into the comics. And I think this is based on a parody comic that National Lampoon did. It was The Son of God. It was drawn by Neil Adams. I would not be surprised. In fact, I'd bet on it. 19. Whew. I show you these comics, but then I don't really get much organizing done. But it's not any fun to just watch me moving. I've got to provide you with content. All right. Where was the water bottle I brought in? Jesus. Got old comic bags stuck to my water bottle. All right. One down, two down. I had another water bottle. Where did that go? Oh, there it is. Okay, wonderful. What did I show you? Yeah, that one. Did I show you this? $22. I was showing you these same comics in the other room very recently. There's a guy on YouTube, ETA Nick, and he was saying, I can't wait for this Son of Satan show to come on television so I can get rid of all my Son of Satan comics. But I'm sure he was disappointed because it was, no one even noticed it came on television because it was not good. But he's on a project. I was watching him this morning. He's embarked on a project where he's going to only save 150 comics. He's picking the ones he's going to save. Okay, that's not his first appearance. He was first in Werewolf by Night. I don't think I have that Werewolf by Night issue. Oh, yeah, he's pretty wild. He only collects like the very best condition, and he'll show it. And I don't know what kind of lights he has. It makes his comics look like they're made out of some other material. He'll show some comic from 40, 50 years ago, and it'll look. He'll shine the light on it, where you can see that it just looks brand new, and he just keeps lingering on the comic, and it's like he has this grin on his face, and it's like pornography. It's like he's looking at a girl in a bikini. It's like, look at this corner. Yeah, you gotta watch ETA Nick. He's a trip. But I could never. Could you do that? Narrow your comic collection down to 150? Well, he said he's going to keep. This morning he's decided he's going to keep the first 9 Swamp Things, the ones with the Bernie Wrightson art, and then some other comic he's decided to keep. But the first appearance of Doctor Strange in Strange Tales. But he's going to get rid of all the other Strange Tales. But how do you determine 100? No. It's not 150. He's lowering it to 500. He's only going to keep 500 comics. So if there's 150 comics in a long box, that's going to be, let's say 300. It's going to be about 4 long boxes of comics. Maybe Maybe he's one of those people that lives in a tiny house. You see those people that live in these tiny, tiny houses. Maybe that's all the room he has. I don't know, but I could not do that. Because there's so many memories attached to a lot of these comics, like this one I bought the first time I went into Lone Star Comics in the summer of 1977. This is the actual copy I bought. So, every comic, at least the ones I've had since my childhood, has a story attached to it. And the comics that I bought used have stories attached to them. I just don't really know all of them, but some of them, the ghosts of their past are very visible. So, sometimes, the writing, the kid writing their name on the comic, it tells a story, and the date stamp, tells, this is the date it was actually put out on the magazine rack or on the comic spinner. And okay, this is a reprint comic of Captain America. Yeah, so there's a reprint of the Steranko cover. It's got that nice UPC code covering up part of the art. Oh, here's a reprint of the first appearance of the Vision. Okay. Then here's Marvel Superheroes. Now this is the same numbering from the Marvel Superheroes in the 60s. And of course the first Marvel animated series was called Marvel Superheroes. And it had the Hulk and Submariner and Captain America and Thor and Iron Man. And it was a wonder. I mean, it looked just like this. It looked just like this, except the characters didn't move very well. But they were traced right out of the comics, and then the words were straight out of the comic, and the dialogue was acted out very well by really good actors. This is like a special doo-wop episode. Radio Gratuit usually has some more diversity in their music selection. This feels like it has a Mark Jewelers. Yeah, you can feel the Mark Jewelers supplements because they're stiff and they give your comic a rigidity like it has a backing board in it. And so this is the... They always list comics separately on mycomicshop.com if they have a Mark Jewelers supplement in there. And it's really no big deal, but it's part of the story of the comic. We talk about comics as stories. Well, I know that this comic was sold on a Army base or Air Force or Naval base, in a PX, base exchange, to either a young child, son, or daughter of servicemen, or it was bought by a serviceman. So, that's a little bit of a story. But I think I'm a big proponent of, I was talking about this before, once you get your comics bagged with the backing board, on the backing board in the back, if it's a comic that had some meaning to you as a kid, write the story of the comic and where you got it, how your mom bought it for you, where you were on the backing board. And then that story will continue on with a comic long after you're gone to whatever person winds up with it, because hopefully these comics will not just be thrown into a dumpster when you pass to the great beyond. 53. 55. Okay. I have lots of these because this is how I was first exposed to the Silver Age, is through these reprint comics. That's 67. 68. 75. I think I'm going to ask my wife for my birthday to get me some bootleg sets of the Marvel Superheroes cartoons from eBay. Or if any of you have them on DVD and could make me copies, I would gladly pay you. I have the Thor cartoons, and I have some of the Captain America. But I could always get you know, it's like all the Thor cartoons are on one disc. So that means they recorded it in a slow speed. I'd like to get the best picture quality possible. Yeah, I look like Lenny and Squiggy. My hair falling like that. 79. I used to have brown hair, and then when I got older, and then it started turning gray, and then the part that wasn't gray is kind of not brown anymore. I don't know. 82. '83. 84. 85. 93. Okay, so then Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars. And I keep talking about this comic, and I remember thinking, maybe if I look at it now with a different eyes. At the time, I just thought, well, you know, they're getting all the heroes together just to sell toys, and that really was the reason. But I was a cynical college student when that came out, and I think, let me look. I've been told it's a very good story. That's not, yeah.
You like music, you son of a bitch?
84.
WFUN 106.9
1984.
We put the FU in WFUN, which means fun in the sun. Yeah.
Here's Marvel Tales 33. Marvel Tales 33. Marvel Tales 33. It's like a special Masonic episode. Now, 34. $35. At least at this part, they would try to redraw the covers, give you something new. But they figure you're, you know, they're the kids that are buying comics in the early 70s are not the same kids buying comics, and well, they always tell you what issue it's reprinting. Or usually they do. Look at that great Silver Age art. I just love it. That's how a comic's supposed to look. So when they don't look like that, when they look like 90s art, I can't accept it, because I'm stuck in that time period. And I really need to buy, I need to beef up my actual Spider-Man comics from the 60s. It's really pathetic how few I have. I guess I have 2 of 38. But my OCD comes out when I hear that this is not the whole story from the original comic. They cut out 1 or 2 pages, and it's like, oh, no, I can't, you know. Once I know that, then it's like, ugh, I don't even want to handle this thing. So, I'm sure, because they probably cut out some of the stuff I like the most, because I always like the parts of the story that weren't the fight scenes. I like the parts that are just hanging out. Peter Parker and his friends, 43.
We're taking down the CCP here on Radio Gratu, Stereo Radio, Gratuville.
Here's 44. 44. WFUN was a real radio station, I think, until the 1970s in Miami. And they've got the old WFUN jingles on YouTube. So I'll put these jingles in between my music on my homemade radio station. And I've called my homemade radio station WFUN. It's just such a great name. I just showed you this, right? Okay, 49. Anyway, so, but I keep going to their page so often to record, because I record right off of YouTube, just because I just do it down in the living room, and just easy to do that. I record from a YouTube onto a 6-hour DVD-R on a DVD recorder, right? So I just record the music off of YouTube and stuff. So so if you go to the page that has the WFUN jingles, it's got so many views. They must be really, how do we get so many views? Why are so many people interested in the WFUN jingles? Because I go there constantly to put their jingle in between songs. And then I recorded myself doing little station IDs in the shower here. You can see it's on my page. If you go down through my blogs, just so but yeah, this is the first issue I actually bought off the newsstand of this, 58. So it's or is it April 75? That late? No. April 75. Okay. So that would mean that it came out like January of 75. So that's my 4th grade year. Okay. Halfway through my 4th grade year. My 3rd grade year, I was still into the monster comics. So I guess I was awakened to the Fantastic Four and then to Spider-Man, and then I started getting the old Marvel Tales. Yeah, and I got this one off this is a childhood copy too. I got off the newsstand. But what about that Spidey Super Stories? When did that come out? Because I was buying those. There's 60. I don't know. '61. Ooh, this is a good song. 63. Yeah, I just live in my own world, and I have old comics, old music, and I tune out the modern world of Cardi B, and the only time it intrudes on me is when someone drives by in a car with the really loud music thumping. Beware the Black Widow. '68. So usually they would have written it down here. It would tell you originally presented in Spider-Man '87. So you knew what you were reading. Here's 69. '70. '73. '74. '75. Evel Knievel miniatures. '76. Oh, but look at this. The famous drug issue that when it was originally printed did not have this code of the Comics Code Authority stamp, now has it. So I guess they relaxed their standards and it was okay now. 78. '79. Looks like I have 2 copies of '79. '80. You know, when major generals get us through huge wars, a lot of times, almost within a few years, they become president. You think about that, George Washington and General Grant, the Civil War, and Eisenhower with World War II. I guess that's just kind of a tribal thing. That's just how people are, you know. It's like, you saved us, you're worthy of being president, and then Eisenhower's granddaughter, or probably great-granddaughter, is a very strange New Age kind of conspiracy. She kind of hangs out with the conspiracy theory people, and Laura Eisenhower. She's really into astrology, I think. There's 86.
Make sure that the stream works. I've never done this before. You will not see my face until 1 o'clock. We won't begin in
87.
until 1 p.m. So here's a little.
Oh, I recorded this off of YouTube last Sunday. I think it was Sunday afternoon. This is guy Quintron, Quintron and Miss Pussycat out of New Orleans. He did this show just with Hammond organ, crazy Hammond organ, old Hammond organ records, and it was wonderful. And I recorded it, and then it got me on a Hammond organ kick. So I've been recording a lot of Hammond organ, old Hammond organ records off of YouTube. That'll probably show up. So you'll be hearing a lot more Hammond organ music in the background of the Gratu Orloff show for a little bit, as I work myself through this phase.
Right. Oh, pig guy. So now I can look at the chat, but I don't have to hear myself twice.
93.
The stream is working. Yes, I know about Lag.
94.
Our old friend Lag. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna go run around and do some stuff, but I will see you with my eyes into your eyes.
95.
In 10 minutes, we have so many exciting things.
This is weird.
Right now you're listening to...
It's weird in that this story was in the black and white Spider-Man magazine from '68. Then it was reused in the color comic with some alterations, and then it was reprinted here. So this is the 3rd time this story was printed, this Spider-Man story. And it continues on over several issues. So they got 3 issues out of that black and white magazine. And then we get, I imagine this has some value because it reprints the Death of Gwen Stacy storyline. 99. And then this is the issue that they used as the Power Records There's a book and record with this in the 70s that I listened to many times.
Oh, I can hardly wait. This is unbearable.
Now it was Marvel's TV sensation because they had a TV show on at that time that was not very good at all. 103. Oh, and look at this. I bought it even though I already had it. This is a reprint of the very first issue of Spider-Man that I ever had. That was bought for me by my mother. This is it reprinted, so I guess I figured I'd pick it up. It's kind of neat. Enough time had passed that they're reprinting my stuff from my childhood. Now that stuff from my childhood is almost 50 years old. Okay, all right, I need that lid. It's not a drug reference. I always hated marijuana culture and all those terms, hippies, but yet I enjoy underground comics and the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers and stuff like that. So let's see. So the other M box. Where did it go? What?
Bob Reed was very dynamic.
Metal Men. No, not that.
Like 9 minutes.
It's probably in this box.
FaceTime.
So. Yeah. No? I'm confused. Hold on a second. Okay. Let's see. Green Lantern, no. J through M. Okay, I guess it's here. It goes here. Okay. So there's Marvel Tales reprinting the first Punisher.
Fun fact, Bob Reed, the organist that we're listening to right now, playing from the top of the
Shit.
which I've decided is my waiting room soft opening music for the show.
Okay.
107.
107.
With his husband to Los Angeles, California, in the 1980s.
108. 108.
It looks like this record was recorded in 1967.
109.
Wouldn't know it.
And then they started over at the beginning with the very first Spider-Man stories, because they hadn't been reprinted since the late 60s when Marvel Tales first started. So we're in the early 80s here, and this gives kids in the early 80s a chance to see the old Steve Ditko stories. I would have been in high school at this point. And apparently they'd never reprinted Spider-Man 29 before. Somehow they'd skipped over that, so they made a big point of announcing that to the reader.
Not too long ago. Wow, bringing us way down.
It's 169. $170. $172. They announced that it's a collector's item classic at the top. $174. $175. What was the other box I brought in here this morning? So this afternoon I need to look for that. See, this is an influence from the Batman TV show.
Little trick ending.
The sound effects. Everybody started making their sound effects much bigger in the comics when the sound effects started to appear visibly in a live-action TV show. And here's Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham, who I think appeared in that computer-animated movie, that Miles Morales movie, so there may be some value in that. I think I have more than one Peter Porker. Then I've got these N comics. Night Force, Nexus, No Prize Book, Normal Man. I showed these before, recently. This is a humor comic that maybe the average normal man. I don't know. I don't know if how good it was. Yeah, it was pretty good. And it was printed in color too. This one, yeah, there's more in comics because Nova here starts with issue 10, so there's another box somewhere. Possibly it's right underneath this. Let's see. What is this stuff? Camelot 3000, Boris Karloff, Battle Classics. No, I went through this box already. So that is not what I'm talking. Maybe I already went. Maybe I already went through both boxes that I brought in today. I think I did. What is this? Oh, no. This is where those Marvel Tales should have gone. What? What? Marvel 2-in-1, Marvel 2-in-1, Marvel Triple Action, Marvel Team Up. Oh, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Damn it. Okay, it's easily fixed. It's not a horrible problem. this. Yeah, I think we can fix this. Marvel Tales, Marvel Team Up. Marvel Team Up. Okay, that's Marvel Triple Action. So, were there Marvel Tales? So where are the other? Oh, maybe, no. I see what happened.
Hello, everybody. I forgot to hit record. Hello, everybody.
Okay.
And welcome to the premiere episode of Big Organ Moments. We have lots of fun.
Oh, the show is called Big Organ Moments. Oh boy, what a title.
Sunday afternoon in New Orleans. Nice.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon, you need to tune this show in.
Yeah, so this is what I'm doing for the next 5 weeks or something. Got in kind of a COVID rut. Thank you.
Okay. Well, then, I guess we can look at these books, maybe, a few of them, till I get super tired. But I think I'm going to remain standing. Okay, so we went through Marvel Tales, and then there's Marvel Team Up. Yeah, because I promised you earlier on, when I was moving these comics around, that I would show them to you, so it would be kind of shitty if I didn't. Here's Marvel Team Up, number 8, Spider-Man and the Cat.
Knowledge that I've gained about these incredible artists today is the shows are going to be.
And I have 2 copies of it.
So sort of themed. Today's show is called Ladies' Night because there's a lot of ladies in the lineup.
Number 10,
who I'm very excited to share with you. And
Human Torch.
We're going to start at the beginning.
And then the first copy I picked up off the newsstand in Hampton, Virginia, before we moved to San Antonio. It's number 12, Spider-Man and the Werewolf. You might have heard me grumbling earlier in the show, where's that Marvel Team Up? Here's 15, which I bought at the PX because you can see.
According to her, she's done
well, there's little stamps on, you might be able to see there on Spider-Man that show that.
For silent films, and then smartly moved to New York.
Did I already show you all these things?
As a radio theater organist,
let me see.
Theater for the Mind, and she was.
Well, I'll show them again. 19. I think I showed them in the other room before I moved this box in here. 19. Here's 23. Here, Spider-Man doesn't appear. It's Human Torch and Iceman.
Mostly focused on electronic organ music.
Here's 24. Spider-Man and Brother Voodoo. I have 2 copies of that.
I'm not a historian, folks, by the way, so I'm going to get stuff wrong. I'm going to not know the full story.
26, Spider-Man and Thor.
So I'm going to share my enthusiasm with you.
Spider-Man and the Son of Satan.
Really were. Miss Pussycat's the expert on that, but they had a record label that made a few records. One of them.
Another copy of 32.
Her name's not even on the cover, except for her name is Rosa. But it's basically
34.
Improvising this weird Hammond music with introductions by this guy. Oh, I should remember this. Anyways, you can look
34.
everything up. But let's hear a little bit of that. I'm going to tell you some stuff about Rosa. I'm going to talk over the music.
36, Frankenstein Monster.
You can look all this stuff up and make playlists yourself or whatever. But yeah.
Spider-Man, the Sons of the Tiger. By this point, I was living in Tacoma, Washington, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Meditation.
The cover is halfway, you know, it's misprinted a little bit, so it looks like the comic is 5 cents. 42.
To subordinate other impressions or images that otherwise might
how
43.
of the mind. Further, certain select music
44.
those psychic centers which help induce the more exalted state
49.
of mystical consciousness.
55.
About a lot of stuff.
56 must be a Whitman. I think it was a Whitman variant. Yeah, that was in a 3-pack. 57 Spider-Man and Black Widow.
Go. And this is what happened.
67 Spider-Man and Tigra. 72. 73.
Her work address for 20 years was
74. This is when Spider-Man teamed up with the original cast of Saturday Night Live. 75 Power Man. 76 Doctor Strange. 78 Wonder Man. 81 Satana.
The Shadow.
96.
The Lone Ranger, Amos and Andy.
This is after Howard the Duck started wearing pants due to a lawsuit from Walt Disney. Here's issue 100. And I jumped to 125 with Tigra. The way Tigra is drawn, I almost thought it was Steve Ditko, but there's no, and that does not look like a Steve Ditko Spider-Man, and it's not Steve Ditko, but almost fooled me there for a second. Official Marvel Index to Marvel Team Up. Now, one of these Ultimate Marvel Team Ups, this is Spider-Man and the Hulk. I think I need to put these with the used because I had some over there, or I need to move those ones over here. This one, Spider-Man and Iron Man. One of these, I think, is the one I was talking about a few episodes ago, if I'm not mistaken. This is Spider-Man, the Punisher, and Daredevil. Spider-Man and Fantastic Four. Issue 10, Spider-Man and Man-Thing. 11, Spider-Man and the X-Men. This is the one, I think, I was talking about, that I thought was so creative. Yeah. The whole thing takes place in the food court of a mall. And Spider-Man and the X-Men team up. They're just talking in the food court of a mall, and it's really good. There's no supervillains or fighting. It's just it's just a really creative issue 12. Really creative way to go with it. 13.
Rosario was born and raised and lived
There's 14.
childhood, teenage, young adult life in New Orleans, Louisiana.
15.
And I have a theory, and I think I'm right.
16.
She was growing up in the dawning of the jazz era. I don't know what year she was born.
Ultimate Spider-Man Super Special.
A long time ago.
I think I do need to put these with... I don't know what I need to do.
More than other Americans, certainly at that time.
Marvel Triple Action, number 2. Feels like it's a...
And that is absolutely
no, it isn't.
that won her the job at
It felt like it was a
scoring these radio shows and scoring silent films.
Mark Jeweller's variant because it's thick. But I think comics were just thicker at that point.
So you had to think on your feet, you had to know your theory, and you had to be a good improviser.
The 20-cent era was wonderful.
A lady from New Orleans would know about that. So.
Is it dark outside yet? Man, bear, pig. Yeah, it's dark out there. Man Bear Pig had a wonderful idea, which was to actually put a clock in the room so I know what time it is. But yeah, it's dark outside, so I don't know what time I started filming this episode. But it's a Gratu Orloff After Dark episode. Marvel Triple Action number 10. More Avengers stuff. Oh, I have 2 copies of 10.
She ended her career in Tampa. She played at the Sanger, actually, in New Orleans.
I think I'm going to stop after Marvel Triple Action and save Marvel 2-in-1 for, I have 3 copies of 10. I'll save it for next episode. And I'm rapidly running out of comic books to show you guys, but I still have tons of magazines and monster magazines, and a whole closet's full that I've never shown you, and that will be fun, I guess, for you. 17. This is colored very differently from the original Avengers cover, much more brightly, and that was from Stan Lee's command. Marie Severin always went against Stan Lee's orders and colored in a more muted way. And when new colorists came on, she would tell them, don't listen to Stan Lee. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Just color it the way I'm doing it. But by this time in the mid-70s, this is the first one I picked up off the stands, I think. Stan Lee kind of won out by this point and was making the covers more bright. The Silver Age comics were never this bright. Here's 36. 38. So I guess one reason to get these is to see the covers from the Avengers colored a little bit differently, maybe. Then they started doing X-Men reprints because X-Men started to become a hot property. And then Marvel 2-in-1, but I'm okay. There is definitely another box because it starts with Thing and Doctor Strange, number 6, but that's wonderful art. But I look at this around that. I always thought it was kind of weird how rounded his chest was, but it's great art. And look at just how beautiful that is. Yeah, I have number 1, and it's in another box, so I gotta find that. Yeah, Marvel 2-in-1 has up here. It says Marvel 2-on-1. Yeah, I've got that. And so this is not good. Marvel. Yeah, I wanna get all my Marvel 2-in-1s together before I present them to the world, to the comic book community, to the nerd neighborhood, to the well, I think that I need to get downstairs. Maybe my wife's out of the shower by now. But I got a lot of cleaning done today. I think that will be. Oh, I still need to do the dishes. But I think it will make the house look a little more presentable when my mother-in-law shows up tomorrow. That whenever she leaves, it takes her 4 hours to get here, so I'll have time to do some stuff.
She was, in my opinion, the first great virtuoso Hammond faster than anyone.
Okay. Boy, that damn fluorescent light does a number on your eyes. I think I might stop using it and start using more normal light for these episodes. Especially after I stop just showing comics all the time and start doing more talking. I've got a whole new disc of over 6 hours of music for the next few episodes. But for right now, okay, everything's turned off. Oh, I need the power cord. has got to be the most self-indulgent show on YouTube. Most people edit out all these kind of moments. There's no editing here on the Garage to Orloff channel. But that's the way that people get like 1 million subscribers. They do all this super rapid editing for people with ADHD. And it's like, they go like 2 words and they edit. Then 2 words and they edit. And then they do all this weird stuff. That's the way that you win over the younger audience on YouTube. And so I closed the door to a room that's pretty much becoming the comic room, as I gradually move all the Bronze Age stuff from the other room. That's going to wind up being the room with all the comics, and there won't be a Bronze Age and a Silver Age room anymore. But that's just as well, but I'll have them still segregated within that room. So, I guess I'll be seeing you.